Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. So it's official. The vaccine passports are coming. Now, in principle, I do support the vaccine passports, but for people who are actually going places. If you're going to another province, another state, another country, whatever it might be, yeah, I can understand. Okay, spend the extra $50, whatever it is, for an administration fee, get the extra passport to show you have been immunized, and I got no problem with that. But the way it's being implemented is these vaccine passports are going to be necessary for day-to-day business. Yeah, the whole mark of the beast. I'm not getting into that. The mark on the back of your hand is not quite here yet, but this is a very interesting test run. My first problem, as it's always been with this system, is the fact it's going to be tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars flushed down the drain for nothing. I mean, you got to come up with a new piece of ID. Somebody's got to design that piece of ID. Somebody's got to go through and verify all those records. Somebody's got to build a software system to maintain those records. Somebody has to do the data entry for it. Then you got to get people who are issuing those passports as you're going along. That's a lot of money. And this virus, they keep telling us, is going to go away. So what do we need a passport for the next couple of months? My second problem is the people who are not going to get a vaccine are not going to get it. It's like those hardcore drinkers and drivers, the ones that are on their 6th or 7th conviction. Whatever the judge does, he can throw them in jail, take away their license, say they'll never be able to own a vehicle again, and they always manage to do it. They get drunk and they do it again because they're that hardcore faction. Realistically, at this point, there's very few people who are able to get a vaccine that haven't had one. But I think the thing that bothers me most is the way these vaccine passports are being handled. Like, they're going to be used to go into movie theaters, to do your daily shopping, all that kind of thing. Well, this is going to kill the theater business. Because why are you going to go get your vaccine passport, get frisked by a 17-year-old? No offense to 17-year-olds. There's some very mature 17-year-olds out there. But they stop you and say, "Can I have your ID, sir?" And it's another point of annoyance. So what are you more likely to do? Go out there, spend $20 on a movie, $15 on popcorn and a drink, then get harassed by the kid there. Again, no offense to the kids that are running the places. Just so you can sit in a squishy seat with God knows what kind of stains are on the floor and watch a movie, when you can, as an alternative, you can stay at home, get the same movie from Disney Plus, Netflix, YouTube, you name it, and you can watch it as many times as you like. Pause it when you need to go to the bathroom, or you need to make some extra popcorn, whatever it is. It's just way more convenient. Scarlett Johansson, the star of the Black Widow, actually sued because they wrote her contract that she would get a share of whatever it earned at the box office, and then they release it on home video. Well, she's only doing that because this is the way of the future, and she knows it. She's not stupid. She's been around the business long enough. Getting back to the point of the passports, though, so if you're not going to go to a movie theater, what else can you do? Well, apparently they're going to be using these passports when you go shopping. So pretend you're busy, you have kids with you, because kids, as wonderful as they are, they distract you. And you're running at the door, you get to the mall, and you realize you don't have your vaccine passport with you. Now you got to stop, get the kids back in the car, go home, get your vaccine passport for you and the kids, because I'm sure they'll have that, and go back to go shopping. That's pretty annoying, isn't it? I predicted for a while there'd be a death knell for malls coming up, and if people start doing that, demanding passports, malls are going to start losing customers because you can order the same thing online. This, of course, favors big business, the multinationals who really don't care because they're going to get your money one way or the other. And it's unfair to ask a businessman or a local manager to make the choice. They've got two choices. They can stop you and ask you for your vaccine identification, in which case you're going to be annoyed, you're not going to go back to the shop. Or they can not ask you for it, and their employees will complain because they're putting them in an unsafe work environment. Whether you have security out front, which a lot of places have employed, or whether you just have a manager, a subordinate, whatever, there's going to be a lot of pushback against that. Real estate has been doing very well despite the pandemic, which really doesn't make sense until you factor in the fact that people are predators and they're going to sweep in and take a good deal when they can get it. And that's what's going on with real estate at the moment. But property management stuff, like malls, retail places, industrial places, it's been taking a beating. Even apartments, property management, they've been taking an absolute beating because of all the people that haven't been able to pay at the right time. And it's the same for industrial places. Tons of companies have just said, nope, we're done in this business, and they've clocked out. So now that businesses are required to ask this of their customers, then, like I predicted, in order to have a job, you're going to be asked to have your vaccine passport. It's already happening in a couple industries, and I suspect it's going to become more and more common. What right does somebody have to check you every day? I mean, yes, theoretically, the right to keep us all safe supersedes everything else. I will grant you that. But this temporary passport that's going to stay long past its effectiveness and then be eliminated is a criminal oversight. Everybody's rushing to implement this. And remember what I said a few months ago. I think while it was still spring, it's still a little bit cool outside. Here I am at the tail end of summer and saying, here it is. And it's gotten worse because I didn't expect they were going to be implementing in stores, theaters, and anywhere that you might have contact with somebody else. I anticipated it coming. I just didn't anticipate it being so widespread. Because like I said, if you have a business where you have to go back and forth, for example, if you're a sports player, okay, I can understand wanting to have a vaccine passport because you want to know everybody around you has been vaccinated, because sooner or later you're going to sweat on each other. Spit happens, all sorts of stuff happens on a sports field, whether it's a basketball court or a football field, stuff happens. If you're an international business person, you have no choice. You're going to have to wind up going to your satellite branches. And if there's one in Miami and one in Pittsburgh, both of those states are going to be wanting to check to make sure that you're up to date with your vaccines because they don't want anybody bringing anything strange in. Again, that's a good use for a vaccine passport because they're going to be checking your ID at the airport anyway. It's no sweat off your brow to present one extra piece of paper. But as far as the vaccine passports for everyday use, it's a crying shame. And honestly, I remember at the start of this when people were being told to wash their hands. Guess what people are not doing quite so much anymore? They've already stopped washing their hands. Wearing their masks, okay, I understand that's something that was slightly inconvenient for people. Some people didn't like it. I understand that they don't want to wear masks. But washing your hands? Ew. That's just weird that you don't want to wash your hands. So that's why I'm saying this vaccine passport, it's going to go through. But people are going to start ignoring it as soon as they possibly can. Might take a month, might take 6 months, but it's going to be a waste of money. And that ultimately is what bothers me. We're going to wind up empowering a whole bunch of people. And the problem is when you give somebody no power, the power to do something, it tends to be abused. We all know that person that gets promoted or given a little bit of power to do something and they go nuts with their power. And I'm afraid that's what's going to start happening. Sure, if I'm buying cigarettes or liquor or something like that, marijuana is legal where I am, by all means, check my identification. I have zero issue with that. But when I'm buying, milk and cookies and bananas and stuff like that, these are basic needs, necessities for human life. It's not like I'm going to go home and brew them all into some sort of weird concoction. I'm going to put them in my mouth and have a full belly. And why would I need a passport to buy food? Again, the mark of the beast raises its head, although it's not the same as in the Bible. It's not a mark on your forehead. It's not a mark on your hand. You showing that piece of paper doesn't really correspond with the prophecy, but people are going to start making it. I just want to remind you, no matter what, ultimately, this is just a big waste of money. Hence why I'm showing you that big wall over there, because it's a big wall that we're going to throw money into, and we're going to throw that same money straight out the door. The only people that are getting rich are the corporations that are putting systems into place. The ones that have been spending the past couple months saying, hey, we can put this software in, we can sell it to you for X amount of money, and we can staff it for you. Well, correction, they'll be leasing that software, because I guarantee the companies aren't going to be stupid. They'll lease it so that way they can put the government down for 5 to 10 years, whatever it is, and then there'll be an extra charge added on at the end for breaking the lease. Don't be surprised when this happens. But that's a vaccine passport in a nutshell and Silverlight's thoughts on it. If you would like to comment, please comment below. You can always tweet us at @SilverlightLive. You can email us silverlightservices@gmail.com. And of course, as always, if you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe. And we hope you have a fantastic day.